Hello, in this video I'm going to share with you how I've solved the number one problem that freelancers face, and it's this one: how to find clients. Now before I dig in, fair warning, this is quite a long video. It's not Titanic long. I'm hoping to be done in around about half an hour, but if you don't have the time or patience to watch the full video, if you look below you'll find a summary of the main points, and there'll also be a transcript. So if you're one of these that prefers to read rather than watch, you can do that. That's absolutely fine. Please watch the video if you can. There's a lot of good stuff in here, and I think it'll just make more sense if you watch the full thing. So, fair warning, here we go. This is a problem, and it is a problem for most freelancers. How do we find clients? And there's kind of a myth around this. There's this thought, particularly if you're a new freelancer, that as you get more experience, you'll just naturally you'll get this upward trend that you'll kind of figure out how to find clients. And over time, it'll just get easier and easier. If you've been a freelancer for a longer time, you'll know that just isn't true. Finding new clients is always a challenge. Instead of this kind of upward trajectory that you might be imagining, it looks more like this. So you start off, you get some clients, and maybe you get fully booked, and that's great, happy face. But then something happens, project ends, clients move on, and then you've got no clients. Or at least very few clients. And then you struggle to find new ones and things aren't great and you're unhappy. And then you find more clients and things are good for a while and then it goes down. And this is the regular cycle. This is the cycle that I've experienced. I've been doing this for 17 years. Been a freelance copywriter for that time. And that's kind of the usual progression. And most freelancers will tell you that's the way it is. And part of the reason is because when you're at these points, you're very, very busy. And you don't have the time to really go out there and find clients. And that can be a lot of stress. Now, I'm not going to tell you I've found a solution that keeps you up here all the time. That doesn't exist. No one can guarantee 100% clients all the time. That isn't realistic. What I have done is found a way to flatten the curve. So my life looks a little bit more like that now. I still get the highs and lows, but the lows don't go quite as low and they tend to be shorter. This is really important because if you're still in this frame, these bits don't always last as long as these bits. Sometimes they last longer. And that's a problem because what happens is you're burning through your reserves whilst you're trying to find new clients. And if they go for too long, that can really put your business at risk. So the idea is to have a system that you can do, a way to find clients that you can still do even when things are really, really busy and things are going well, so that when you get these dips, you get back up to the top very, very quickly. Okay, so the system that I've come up with. Let me reassure you first of all, I'm not going to do that sort of classic thing where I tease you a little bit and then try and sell you an ebook with the full system. I'm going to share with you right now the full system that I developed over the last 18 months, the whole thing. And if you look at that system and think, you know what, I could learn to do that myself, and you just want to go off and try it, that's absolutely fine. Absolutely go for it. But I think the program I put together, you're going to find much more useful. It will get you up to speed much faster, and it's going to save you literally thousands and thousands of pounds. I'll come on to that. Here's the great thing about this system that I put together. First of all, no tedious social media posting. Still do it if you want, but you don't have to. It's not required for this system. There's no, no expensive ad purchases. No time-consuming network events. You can do all those things if you want to, but it's not a requirement for this system. And perhaps the best part about this system is that it only takes around about 1 hour a week. And that's conservative. As you get better, you'll probably do it faster than that. So if you can spare 1 hour a week to do this system, you'll see an unbelievable difference in your ability to find new clients. So what is this system? Well, let me explain how it came together first of all. This was the question I was trying to figure out because I've been doing this a long time. And as I said, most of it is that old-fashioned technique of little bits of marketing, mainly referrals, a little bit of networking. But I kind of got frustrated and I started thinking about where can I find business connections? Where can I get more proactive in the way I do things? And the obvious answer to that is LinkedIn. There's around about 1 billion people, or just under 1 billion people on LinkedIn. That's where people are. And what I was doing was just making connections, finding people who were in industries that I had experience in, or were at sort of job levels. I tend to work with a lot of marketing managers. So I was looking to connect with marketing managers, and that was quite useful. But I was still, the reason it didn't work is because even though I was connecting with these people, I was still kind of relying on the possibility that they might stumble across one of my social media posts just at the time that they really needed my services, and hope that they didn't know another copywriter that they're more used to working with. It always felt like a bit of a long shot, and it wasn't really producing a lot of results. So the question was, how do I actually go out and proactively find opportunities? So people that are actually in the market for the service that I provide right now. And so for that, I started using LinkedIn search. Now, you probably already know this, but if you use LinkedIn search, tweak a couple of parameters, you can look for people who've made posts that specifically say they're looking for a freelancer. Every day, there's easily hundreds, maybe even thousands of people that do this. Use LinkedIn search, you can just find all sorts of opportunities. The problem I found, though, was time. It's time consuming to do, and it's very boring, and it's very tedious, and you've got to scroll through a lot of nonsense just to try and find the real opportunities. So my solution to that was to hire a virtual assistant. So I still have a virtual assistant, and they, every day of the week, do those searches for me. They curate them, so they get rid of the nonsense and just find the ones that look really interesting. They send them to me by WhatsApp, and then I approach them. Next problem, I'm not the only one doing this. How do I get the attention of those leads once I've found them? Because there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of people using LinkedIn search to find these opportunities. Now, first of all, you can't be afraid of the competition. If you're going to be successful in the freelance game, you've got to accept that competition is just there, particularly if you're a creative freelancer. It's a very, very saturated market. But the thing to remember is that most people in this market are not your competition. Most of them, and it sounds a bit mean, but okay, maybe most of them, a lot of them, are hobbyists. It's kind of a side hustle for them. They maybe can't even do the work that well themselves. They're maybe not that professional. You're not competing with them. If you're good at what you do, if you're smart, if you're professional, you're already in the top 1%. But there is still a little bit more you need to do, and this is where copywriting techniques came in. Fortunately, I'm a copywriter, so I was able to find some ways of contacting leads and turn them into prospects with a much greater efficiency. To give you a little example, this is just a couple of weeks ago. I messaged a lady who was looking for a freelance copywriter, and she responded to me within half an hour, sent me a calendar link so I could set up a Zoom call with her, had the Zoom call, and we've agreed a piece of work worth about £1,600 with the possibility of a long-term retainer. Now, she got dozens and dozens of messages from people, but mine was the one she responded to. And she actually commented on how impressed she was by the way in which I approached her, and she even wrote a LinkedIn post about it. It's just it's something that I'm not going to give too much away. It's a very good system to use. I don't know anybody else using this. It's really easy. I'm going to teach you how to do it. Final problem. How do I turn those prospects into clients? Because once you got them on a phone call or a Zoom call, how do you actually get them to close? If you're used to getting referrals, 99% of the work has been done for you. It's quite straightforward. But if you're in a competitive situation, or there may be several other freelancers that are being considered for the contract, then it really helps to know a bit about sales. I have this theory that most creative freelancers are pretty good at marketing, sometimes very good at marketing, but they don't really think about sales. And in this situation, when you're being proactive, when you're going after opportunities, it really, really helps to know sales. So last year, I took on some sales training, and the difference was almost immediate. I could see in the way in which people were responding to me, positioning myself as a consultant, as an expert, finding the right questions to ask people. It's powerful, and it makes a real difference, and I saw the difference in my conversion rates. So what was the end result in all this? I spent about 18 months refining this system, and it peaked last year. I found 12 new clients in 12 months. And to put that in perspective, for the last 17 years, I've averaged round about 2 to 3 clients per year. And that's been enough. Most of the last few years, I've grossed around £100,000. Things are going pretty well, but it was never fully consistent. And there was never that many new clients. I relied a lot on my sort of existing pool. Finding 12 new clients in 12 months is transformational for business. It's not just about the work that I got from this, it's also about the future work that I can get, because some of these clients were just one-off projects worth a few £100s. Some of them were long-term projects worth tens of thousands. And these are all contacts that are now part of my client list and that I can go back to potentially again and again and again. Cost a lot to put this together. Altogether, in terms of putting the system together, getting the training that I needed, hiring the virtual assistant, doing all those things, I spent easily £10,000 investing in this. Last year, I started teaching other people how to do this and actually doing this as a done-for-you service. And I'll charge anything up to £1,000 per month for that service. Here's the problem with that. What I discovered is that most people, most freelancers, especially those who need this service, don't have that kind of money to spend. And it's not that it isn't successful. I had one client who found a huge piece of business worth around £30,000 within weeks of learning the system. It took me a bit longer. I'm not making any guarantees that you'll have exactly the same success. I might have found 12 clients in 12 months. You might be less for you. It might be more. And I think there are some people who are going to take this system, run with it, and are going to make it much more effective. But it's how do I make it available to people at a price that's much more affordable? So this is what I've come up with. The freelance freedom method. The idea was to find a way to make this scalable so I can share this method and give people the nuts and bolts of it without them having to spend huge sums of money. So it's affordable for just about every freelancer. So this is what the freelance freedom method is about. This is what we're going to give you. First of all, we're going to give you the leads. We're actually going to do this part for you. We'll teach you how to do it as well, because I think it's important you know how to do it. But if you're like me, it's the kind of thing that you'll do for a few days and then you'll get busy and you'll miss a day, and before you know it, weeks have gone by and you've not done any lead searches. For this to be consistent, because you're creating a pipeline, you're creating a system where you're constantly putting leads and then prospects and then potentially clients into your system. We're going to do this part for you. So Tuesday, Wednesdays and Fridays, because those are the most active days on LinkedIn, we'll search for the leads, and when we find them, we'll curate them. So we'll get rid of the dross and we'll get rid of the stuff that's sort of time wasters and tire kickers. We'll take the real opportunities, the ones we feel are the best opportunities, and we're going to put them into a private Discord group that's just going to be for our members. So you'll have access to that. We're going to start off with just Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, but if we get lots of interest and if things go well, we're hoping to expand that to other days of the week as well. Excuse me, I'm going to take a drink. Am I right? I'm not used to this much talking. Okay, so leads are sorted. I'm then going to show you the copywriting techniques that I use to get attention. And it's not just about the words that you use, it's also the method that you use. This is what we're going to cover in this. We're going to cover how to approach the lead. So how to do it in a way that gets their attention. How to set up your LinkedIn profile so that when they go and look at your information, you look like a professional. How to craft your message. This is really, really important. Most people get this wrong. They focus on the wrong things. And then lastly, I'm going to show you the tool that I use to really boost my messages. This one is really, really key. I don't know anybody else that's using this method. It's super, super effective, and it's easy to do. Initially, you're going to look at it and you might think it's complicated. It's not. I can teach you in about 5 minutes, and it takes 1, 2, maybe 3 minutes to actually put the message together. You're going to love this part. So we're going to show you that. That's going to be done for a webinar, and we'll go through all of that, and we'll show you how to do that. Next part, once you've actually turned those leads into prospects, so they've responded to you, you've got on your Zoom call, you've got on your phone call, You need to know how to sell to them. I can't stress this enough. You can get a really long way just by being nice and personable and sounding like you know what you're talking about. But if you just have even the most basic of sales training, this is going to make a huge difference to you. Okay. Now I'm not going to do this training. I'm going to bring in a sales training professional, and they're going to teach you. And we're not going to turn you into this horrible, hypey, pushy car salesman. That's not what this is about. This is about positioning yourself as an expert, as a consultant, as somebody that your prospect can trust. So we're going to teach you that. Then we're going to look at beating the competition. And this is really about repeat business. This is about how you position yourself in such a professional way that clients just fall in love with you and they can't wait to work with you. And they can't wait to work with you a long time. One of the key things that I learned many, many years ago was that it's really important to get, if you can, to get clients on retainers, to get that regular income from them. And a lot of that is how you position yourself. There's all sorts of little tips and tricks you can use. Some of them are quite obvious, some of them not so obvious. I'm going to share all of that with you. Everything I've learned over the last 17 years, you're going to get all of this. We're also going to do additional freelance training. So these are all the little things. If you're a new freelancer, this is going to be absolutely gold for you. But even if you've got some experience, unless you've been doing this for 2 decades, or almost 2 decades as I have, I promise you there's things I can teach you that are really, really going to help your business. Here are some of the things that I'm going to share with you. How to work out what to charge. This one is absolutely massive. It's one of those questions. It's probably the question I get most asked when new freelancers talk to me and they want some tips. How do they figure out how much to charge? How do they charge more? How do you make sure you're charging enough that you're not running your business into the ground, but staying competitive? There's a formula for this. I'm going to teach you it. It's really easy, but it's really, really effective. Things like when to start using an accountant, how to get clients on a retainer. There is a method for that. I'm going to teach you it. How to make sure you look professional. How to ask for referrals. There's a key to that which makes a huge difference. It doesn't, because it's one of those things where you can ask, and sometimes you can feel off-putting, like you don't want to sound like you're begging. There's a way to do it that completely cuts it out. Why freelance marketplaces are a dead end. People waste months, sometimes years, trying to make their business work by using, I'm not going to name them because that's unfair, but you know the kind of sites I talk about where you're basically bidding on jobs at a very low rate. They're a dead end. There are alternatives. I'm going to show them to you. How to recognize problem clients. This one's massive. There are certain signs to look for when you first start talking to a client that will tell you if they're going to be a problem client. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to ditch them, but you very least need to be on your guard. And last of all, other methods for finding new clients. Because the freelance freedom method, that is my main method for getting clients now, but it's not the only one. The other methods I've used, I still use. One of my other methods between January and May this year brought in about £30,000 of new business. I'm going to share all of those methods with you as well. I'm not going to hold anything back. You're going to get absolutely all of it. We're also going to have a freelance community. So this is going to be the private Discord group. If you're not familiar with Discord, it's a little bit like a private Facebook group, but with a few extra bells and whistles. Every member is going to be in here, and we're going to encourage you to interact with each other. Because we're going to have lots of different industries represented and lots of different disciplines, there's lots of opportunities for you to do joint ventures with people, maybe do opportunity swaps. So let's say maybe you've got a client who wants your services but then wants a service that you don't provide. This community is going to help you find it. And I have a feeling a lot of people are going to make some really, really strong connections. You may even find your next business partner in this community. That private community is going to be a big part of it as well. And last but not least, we're going to give you ongoing support. My business partner and I will be in this Discord group as well. So if you have questions, if you have concerns, if you have a sticky situation you don't know how to get out of, if you've got a problem client, if you just want to celebrate because you've had a great win, we'll be in there to help you with that. And I have a feeling the rest of the community is going to be very good at this as well, because the one thing you'll know about all our members is that they are people who believe in investing in training and in methods to boost their business. Those are the kind of people you want to get to know they're the people that are going to be in our community. So here we go. This is what the package entails altogether, just in summary. So we're going to give you the leads. We're going to do that part for you. We're going to give you the copywriting techniques. We're going to teach you how to sell. We're going to show you how to beat the competition. We're going to cover all the other little bits of freelance life that's going to make your life easier, make it better. We're going to give you the freelance community to be a part of, and we're going to give you ongoing support. You might be wondering at this point, who is this method for? Because there's a lot of different freelance methods out there. Now, we are going to focus primarily on creative freelancers. So these are the different ones we're going to cover. So brand and tone of voice specialists, coders, software designers, copywriters, content writers, digital marketers, editors, Google Ads specialists, graphic designers, illustrators, paid ads, photographers, proofreaders, search engine optimization managers, social media marketers, videographers, video editors, and web designers. We may expand that, and just be really clear, the number of opportunities will vary depending on the discipline. For example, web design and graphic design are likely to get more leads than, for example, SEO managers. But we know there are leads in all of these areas that exist because we've been tracking this. We've been doing the numbers. So we're very confident that we can cover all of these areas and provide leads in these areas. The only proviso is that you need to be able to deliver your services anywhere in the UK and or the USA. So in other words, if your service is mainly targeted at local businesses, this isn't going to be a good fit for you. You need to be capable of serving people anywhere in the country that you're in. If you can do abroad as well, so much the better. I have found US clients through this method as well. We also find leads in places like Australia and the Middle East. There's lots of opportunities there. So as long as you can go national, then this is going to be a good fit for you. If you're not in one of these, that doesn't mean you can't join. I should probably say that. It does mean that that part isn't going to be useful to you. So let's say you're a freelance, I don't know, something outside of the creative. Let's say you're an accountant, a freelance accountant or something like that. We won't be able to find the leads for you, but we can still teach you how to do it. And if time is of an essence, we can show you also how to hire an assistant to do that for you. So if you're not served by one of these, we'd still love to have you in the program. You're just going to have to do that part yourself, but you'll still get all the other parts as well, and all those will still be useful to you because there's lots in there that you're going to find useful. Wow, hello. So interrupting this message from the future to deliver an important update. So it's been a couple of months since I recorded the video that you're watching just now, and since we launched, and I wanted to just let you know how we're getting on. We've onboarded the first group of members, and we're already seeing some amazing results. Now, for context, when I started using the freelance formula, freelance freedom method myself, it took me about 3 months to get my first client. I figured some of our members would do better. I was predicting that somebody in the group would win their first client through this method, probably within 6 to 8 weeks. In the end, it happened in just 8 days. You should be able to see on screen here the announcement when it came in the Discord. So excited. We've redacted the name because this person's in between roles at the moment, so they've asked us not to share the name at present. That will change in the future, hopefully. But that was just incredibly exciting. We had another member win some business as well after only a couple of weeks. Now, again, I'm going to say these results are not typical. Most people, it's going to take longer. But other members of the group are seeing some great results as well. They're getting really good feedback from the leads that they're contacting. They're getting calls booked in. And yes, I'm still using the method, and I'm still getting some positive results from it as well. So I just wanted to also read you a testimonial from one of our clients, because this was just, I was expecting to be a few months before we started getting testimonials in, but this one came in unasked for, and it was just amazing. This member said, absolutely loving the program. It's been a breath of fresh air, and knowing that the leads are coming into my inbox takes a huge amount of pressure off me, as it was something I didn't have time for before, and then got a sense of guilt about, absolutely relate to that. It really does make a difference. The community element is great. This was something I was really hoping, it's not the main focus, but I was really hoping that people would start to gel. She said the community element is great. I've made good links with 2 of the group already, one of which was able to help me by providing a report yesterday for some client work. Amazing. I've met some amazing people all over the world, people that I would never have reached out to or found before. I think I've had 3 calls now, one in Paris, ex-Facebook marketing manager for Europe. Wow. One in Ireland, one in Wales, and in talks with someone from Dubai. I mean, I'm so happy with that. When I was putting this program together, I wondered what it would be like to help freelancers find new clients, and it's so much better than I could have imagined. It's just an amazing feeling. I'm absolutely loving this community. So what else? First few webinars are in the bag. The recordings are there. So if you join today, you won't have to wait. You can watch the first few straight away and get straight on with the leads. We are delivering leads now, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. As a little quality of life assistance as well, we also send out an email on each of those days, let you know when the leads have landed and how many are in each category. Just saves people hanging around the Discord, waiting for the leads to drop. We've also just launched one of the unannounced features. So this is a way to gamify the freelance freedom method, a way to make it just a bit of fun, but it's a way to encourage everybody to keep working the system, keep doing it week in, week out, and try and make it a little more interesting as well. And I think that's all for now. So now that we're out of pre-launch, we've expanded the pricing options. So you've got a few different options now. Obviously, if you go for the longer subscription, you will save more in the long run. But in all cases, there is a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you join and you decide, you know what, this is just not right for me, that's fine. You can cancel your subscription, drop me an email, and I'll refund it. So I shall now hand you back to my younger, better-looking version, and hopefully I'll see you on the inside. Take care. Bye-bye. So, are you going to join us? Or are you going to stay on the outside looking in? So, a few questions to ask yourself. First of all, can I spare 1 hour a week to generate new business opportunities? If you can spare that 1 hour, then you can make this work for you. That's question 1. Question 2, what is it worth to me to have a consistent, proactive, so you're not waiting for people to come to you, you're going to them, proactive method of business development? What is that worth financially to you? That's the question you've got to answer for yourself. How much will my business benefit by receiving copywriting and sales training? Even taking out the whole lead system, just being able to improve your copywriting and sales ability, what difference is that going to make in the other methods that you use to find business? How much value is that going to be for you? How much will it boost my confidence to have access to a support structure? This is huge. I joined a networking group a couple of years ago because you kind of, when you've been freelancing for that long, you forget how lonely and isolating it can be. Having a community of people who will support you, will encourage you, that is gold. Even just for your mental well-being, having people who do the same work as you or similar work to you, and that can encourage you and that can support you. Last question, and this is a little bit of a mean question. I hope you've noticed that as I'm doing this video, I'm trying not to do a sort of hypey hard sell. I'm trying to keep it reasonable and low key. So this question is a little bit mean, but I'm going to ask it anyway. If I reject this offer, do I have another new business generation method that I can trust? One that isn't passive, one that isn't inconsistent, something that I can work on. One of the things this has really helped with me, because I'm a naturally anxious person, even when I've got, even when I'm fully booked, I'm still anxious because I'm thinking, when are these clients going to drop off suddenly without me expecting? I'm never fully comfortable. This has changed how I feel. I still get anxious because I'm an anxious person, and like I say, there's no new business method that's perfect. But this method gives me comfort because I know that I'm being proactive. So whether I've got clients or whether I've got fewer clients, I'm not just sitting around waiting and wondering if the marketing methods I'm using are even landing, because I'm always proactively going after people. At any given time, I know I've always got a bunch of people that I've sent messages to, a bunch of people who I'm getting close to setting up a Zoom call with, usually 1 or 2 people who I've already got booked into my calendar to speak with, and people who are waiting or are in the process of deciding whether or not they're going to give me the business. Because I've got people in all these different stages, I'm always fairly confident that at least one of those is going to land very, very soon. That makes a huge difference. Do you have that? And if you don't use this method, if you don't join up for this program, do you have a method that can do that? If not, then I really hope you'll consider joining us. So that's all I have for you. The details are below if you need to review them. You should find some other videos as well with some, on this page, with some little extra things to consider. You'll also find some frequently asked questions. Have a look at there if you've got questions. If you have a question that isn't answered on there, then do reach out to me. That's my email address. That's my personal email address, email@davidcongreve.com. Just get in touch and I'll be glad to help you with that. So thank you very much for watching. Oh, there we go, 30 minutes and 20 seconds, I called it. Thank you very much for taking half an hour of your time to watch this video. Really hope to see you on the inside. But either way, have a fabulous day and speak to you again soon.